Oh, so ready to.
I'ma go get what
We
you
getting
tryna
ready
do.
to.
I'ma go get what you
We
tryna
getting ready
do.
to.
I'ma go get what you
We
tryna
getting ready
do.
to. So,
I'ma
so
go get
ready to.
what
Oh,
you
so
tryna
ready
do.
to.
We ready for jump ball, center court now, standing tall now, hold the fort down. This is showtime, more than sports now, more than crunch time. We rush like fourth down.
I be taking wins, we don't mess with laws. I be taking wins, we don't mess with laws. I be taking wins, we don't mess with laws. I be taking wins, we don't mess with laws. We been on that paper chasing all that fashion. We been on that paper chasing what you ration.
Been in the grind now, we ready for prime time, ready for shine now. Be ready to get mine. On the rise, all eyes up on us now. Blast off spaceships till the touchdown.
Energy level on high, put that trouble on fire. Double it down, I'ma spit it around. Click, clack, boom, we the best in town. Energy level on high, put that trouble on fire. Double it down, I'ma spit it around. Click, clack, boom, we the best in town. I started off the lowest point in life, though. I started off the lowest point in life, though. I started off the lowest point in life, though. I started off the lowest point in life, though. I started off the lowest point in life, though.
We getting ready to. So, so ready to. Oh, so ready to.
Yeah, we're ready to blow. And there's two pros. There's that pro, and is that pro. Is this kind of weird? Is this too weird? I don't know. I'm just checking. Yeah, I don't know if it's too weird. But we were gonna do ProQuo Show, but I figured we'd do the Pro Show. What's going on, baby? Yeah, you're kind of checking out the studio. Get sort of the aerial shot there, right there. What up? What up? What up? What up? And worse than here, let's throw on some Wi-Fi, some actual Wi-Fi, so we can get an actual signal in on this one in a second, because that one looks like junk. And we'll bring that one back in a second. Here we go. Pro's trying to sign back in. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Now I think we might be better. Check, check. There we go. Can't get the quality reception today. So, we'll do what we can. We'll do what we can, people. But yeah, you checking out the ridiculously weird ProQuo show. Um let's put this on public so some people can find out we over here. And that's what we doing. Yo, all right, what's good? So you checking out the Pro show? Um Only on the Pro show tonight. Yo, the reception is crazy terrible on this phone today. I'm getting the ridiculous like bad bars. I don't know what's going on with that. Usually the reception is really good. But we do what we can. So at least you get a little sneak peek, a little bit of the of what's up in the Pro studios. Let's change this around. And let's go with that right there. I'm gonna shut that off for a sec. Yeah. 1 2 1 2. Hope y'all can hear me okay. And yeah, so you checking out the ProQuo Show. What do I want to talk about? I want to let y'all know a few things. First of all, Celtics didn't get it done tonight playing Miami. Did not get it done tonight in Miami, yo. Overtime. If you didn't watch the game, don't watch it. It was Jason Tatum's worst game of the season. Double, but couldn't hit a three. Missed all his threes. I think he took 7 of them. He was like 5 for 18. He was like he had like 12 rebounds, which was nice. It was like 14 points, 12 rebounds. It was like he was just going through the motions. It was like he was frustrated that they had an incredible game plan for him. So, but Jaylen Brown picked up the slack. He had a great game. I think he had a season high, like 37 or so, and like 14 rebounds. He was crazy. But Jimmy, Big Shot Butler, oh my gosh, man. Just it was an ugly game all around. It was an ugly game, but it was cool that it went to overtime and they had a chance, but couldn't get it done. This game, you know what you could see? You could see that against a team that played at an elite level, so let's call them an elite team. You can see that they missed Robert Williams tonight. They didn't really have that dominant shot blocker need that they have, and a lot of times with Al, sometimes they guard his minutes, and they start playing that kind of game, and they really are a little light at the big man position without Robert Williams. Luke Cornett gave him a couple minutes, you know what I'm saying? But he had been playing pretty well. A lot of guys have been playing pretty well, but tonight was just a game where everybody didn't really play that well. So it didn't really get it done. That's all I can say. What am I going to tell you? Next week on the ProQuo Show, we've had to take a little bit of some breaks coming into it, but we want to let y'all know, if you're checking out the ProQuo Show next Friday, that'll be one to check out. We might see you might see Quo on the ProQuo Show, which would be dope. We have been back in the lab working on some music, trying to get some things done, planning for some show routines and stuff like that. We got a lot of stuff that we're up to. The music has been very, very busy. On the academic side, for me, it's been a little fun. We've had a conference in town. I guess I can say this now because our division director did. We got at UDC, as part of a 5-person team led from our dean and our division director, Dr. Saeed, and then 4 of us working on the actual writing of the program. We got the world's first quantum science and technology program at the AS level, an Associates of Science in Quantum, really focusing on students' quantum literacy so that they can be in the workforce for quantum and understanding the basics of the science and tech behind quantum, from quantum sensing, quantum computing, everything about security and so forth. And the Quantum World Congress conference we were at for last few days in Washington, D.C. was crazy. Shout out to my man, Russell Sabalos. Russell was out there representing Chicago Quantum Exchange and QSteam, and I'm part of QSteam as well. And shout out to UDC for the program coming online. So if you got young people and you want to get them into quantum, send them over our way. We'll see what we can do. See what we can do to help ready them up for the workforce. You know what I mean? So I got the double pro thing going. I'm really upset with the reception. Is like really off the chain bad right now. Not exactly sure why that's happening, but I have an idea. So we're gonna go with this. And that didn't do it. That did the opposite. We got this going. We're gonna go with this right here. This should get it done. Let's see if that gets it done when it comes back. If it comes back. That's a little better. It's getting there. It's getting there, little by little. So shout out to everybody who checking in from Boston, watching that the Celts. It was tough, man. I got to get myself to a Celts game, but looking at the schedule, trying to get up there. Got some people to see, some music stuff to handle. So shout out to Fee, shout out to Quo, shout out to my man Jonah, who we're trying to have on the show next week. Some of y'all know Jonah. He's been up on the show before, so shout out to him. We're trying to get him up in the building, and one of the main reasons we want to do that is he has some new music out. So always try to get people up and around when they got something they're working on. So Solomonic Journey, Jonah Nathan Cornell. He is a man of faith, pastor, and a rapper who I've known for quite a long time. You know, he's got the voice too, bro. Oh, he's got the voice you would kill for. If you had Jonah's voice, the things you could do, you could probably be a pastor. You could probably be a pastor who's a rapper. But yeah, he's doing his thing. So we're gonna have him up here next week about 9:30 on the ProQuo Show, and we'll probably have Quo up in the building. We've been working on a lot of stuff, and I'm gonna play a joint or two. A couple we thinking of releasing. We got a whole nother album on deck. Our album right now, Instant Brotherhood album, is checking in at, man, let me pull it up for y'all. It's checking in at, I want to say number 18 on the charts. And the charts that we pay a lot of attention to are the NACC, the NAC charts there. Shout out to my man DJ Edition. Always helping with that and keeping us notified of where we are on the positions and so forth. And I think I have a graphic I can share in a minute. Let me go back. Speaking of graphic, y'all see Jupiter last night? The moon and stuff. Check out the stars and the planets tonight too. Crazy stuff in the sky. You got Mars out there. You got Jupiter acting up close to the moon. All kinds of crazy stuff going on. Let me see if I can find this. Nope. That's not it. That's it. That is it. All right. So let's see now if I can share this. This is for my own entertainment value. All right. So right here, this is the national charts. This is the North American college and collegiate charts. And you might say Robert Glasper is all over the place, man, for good reason. You got Robert Glasper up there. You got Soul Messiah, Ezra Collective, big names up there. You got coming in at number 19 with the whole album. You see with Mass Appeal, King's Disease 3, you got Nas, and right underneath it, your boys, ProQuo, with the whole entire Instant Brotherhood album. Now, most of these are singles, but occasionally you'll see albums on there. She's going to say most of these are albums, but occasionally you'll see strong singles on there. So you look here, these albums, and then Run by Killer Mike. I mean, obviously a big name. His single on the strength is able to get into the charts here. Now, most of them are whole albums that stations are running, because a college radio, they can run multiple tracks. They don't got to just play like one track, right? So they get behind whole albums. You got Freddie Gibbs, and you got Conway the Machine down here, right? God Don't Make Mistakes on Shady Interscope. And right underneath it, bam, speaking of singles, you got your boy Professor Lyrical right there with Masquerade. Apollo Brown, unbelievable producer right there. So really dope company to be in. This is the weekend in November 29th. Never know how long we'll be on the charts. A couple weeks ago, too, my man Fee and I were up there for Back in the Days. Masquerade has made an appearance on there. Yeah, it's been dope. So we'll dive in it, doing its thing. It's shown up on these charts, too, as a single. So Dive in It is running strong. And then the other charts we look at are these. See if you can see this. Yeah, you can. So this Rap Attack lives, and if you go to charts right here, so artists, if you're looking to get out there and do your thing, these are charts you're paying attention to. So you'll see some of the same names, not always, because all charts are certainly different. These are regional. This is West Coast. ProQuo featuring Hendo right there, checking in number 11. ProQuo with the Devil's Dancing at number 13. You got your Robert Glasper over here again, and Professor Lyrical Masquerade right there, which is real dope. So 3 joints up there, and we had a long run with Back in the Days, just squeaked off this chart, but we appreciate all the people still supporting that record, and we're not done with that record. We're trying to take that to more charts and more airplay. So that's That, let me hit stop sharing for a second, giving you a little glimpse here of the studio. See the trucks down there on the floor? See, I got to share the room with my son. There's really a toy box behind me with the books on it and stuff. Let me see what I can show you. Let me see what I can show you. Yo, that is my sort of my desk. So I got my head in the way. Sort of my desk set up. I got my my stuff there. Whoa, so it's some stuff in the box. You know what I mean? What else we got? Oh yeah, we got some records. We got some stuff on the walls. You know, mic set up. That's the mic I'm on right now. You know, actually, let's do it like this. Give you the real behind the scenes. I'm taking you on a tour. You on a world tour with Muhammad, my man. That is the thing. The thing in black there with the blue on it. That is from my students. I had that on the wall. I'm trying to find a different space for it. Shout out to my old faculty I work with. That is for the Put 'Em All to Shame album and book plaque. Pretty cool. Some of my son's art. Brand name women. We got the focuses back. We got Green Lantern just because. We got a plaque for a rap battle I won. Some random stuff. You know what I mean? It's just trying to give you the 411, you know? So that's that. My connection is terrible. It's saying, I know the connection's terrible. I'm not too happy about it. So connection's pretty awful. Right there. Yeah, so if you're able to check in next week, check out my man Jonah, my man Quo. We're gonna pop in, tell you about some stuff we're working on, some music we're doing. I think I'm gonna let you hear a joint. So we got a joint in the archives that we've been working on renewing, and a couple new tracks. Now I probably can't let you hear the new tracks that nobody's ever heard. That probably wouldn't be cool to do yet. But we got one or two from back in the days that almost nobody's heard. We might have played once or twice here if you were loyal listeners back in the days when we started out. So let's see what I can get you. I'm going to give you a song, a little piece of, anyways. So we'll see how much of a piece we'll give you of Saint song. Saint song is crazy. I'm a fan. And I doubt many of you have ever heard it. I was rapping about all kinds of stuff on it. I got Mandalorian line on there too. So yeah, there's the audio, and let's see if I can share this with you. So this is ProQuo, unreleased, coming to a theater near you. Here we go with Saint Song.
Mother Nature,
Pro.
to our creator,
Quo.
a Saint song.
You don't make up for your sins in the church.
Yeah.
You do it in the streets. You do it at home. The rest is, you know it.
Woo! Damn. Yeah, here's a song for the saints.
Yeah.
Woo! Damn. Here's the bomb, catch the weight.
Yeah.
Before we ever thought about popping, we had to learn something about Compton. New York vibes, riding apple, no joshing. I see an equal and we betting on the auction. Defining things in front of things is in my doctrine. Rain, night, or day, I put it up cause I'm a marksman. The city rhyming that scheme. Boondocks making coffins. Blind to your dreams cause you X without the crossings. You getting murdered on these scenes cause we praying with these orphans. Parentless children, I'm an idol, what we talking. Cruise like a throwback that the youth are supporting. Fuse blown. Sue that, with his Nate ways get gaze. Probably call up on the coffins. Lounging in the Ville, contemplating with the prophets. Bouncing with some thrills, balance it over the markets. Counting up the bills, making deals is how you rock it. Juice world gone, pills, we a target. Woo! Damn. Here's a song for the saints. Woo! Damn. Here's Here's the bomb, catch the weight.
Way that I spit jogging, sick like I've been starving. Master the craft, this is that way on some din jarring. I've been starving on tracks, y'all binge watching. Hard to find, been on my grind on some Bin Laden. Underground legend, got stats, I'm Jim Harden. Your chin's glass, get in that gym or you'll get guarded. No slim fast, I rip tracks, kid, regardless. No quick fast, I'm long range on my target. Market in the margin of victory so large that you can sense the coming of the God like the Magi. Baptize y'all, flow swift like a magpie. Redline your track to the NS, the alewife. Pro have your fix at in real life. And artists, these click track rappers get click clacked in the carpet. Red letters littered Johansson, I'm over Boston and scarlet like the Bible whenever the God's talking.
Woo! Damn. Here's a song for the saints. Woo! Damn. Here's the bomb, catch the weight.
And there it is, yo. A little unreleased action on some ProQuo, baby. And we just popping up here. People didn't even know we were coming up, so that's kind of dope too. Let me give you a sneak peek to it, no joke. We've been working on this too. Shout out to my man Jay Johnson. Just a peek, just a pinch. Give me a pinch. Yeah, we're gonna probably switch the hookup. D Street.
This ain't no woe is me. Pro's whole life only known poetry. This ain't no joke to me. Pro's whole life only known poetry.
There's that Jay Johnson song playing in concert. Sick the professor on him, I'm quick to main source him. The pro's large, been known all over Boston. A bachelor with the masters in math, now at a doctorate. Straight conquered, every challenge made stronger. Many talents made paperbacks, how I became an author. So awesome to write my life songs in a different chapter. Each track gets more conscious, more self-aware, more care put in responses, with more thought put into courting sponsors. Do it for more than the love, supporting causes, because I'm too aware of how much this music's costing. A small fortune I spent, made and lost it, and made it back again, cause the pen game's so monstrous. And maintain this career and stayed accomplished with flows that persevere till the day they close the coffin.
This ain't no woe is me. Pro's whole life only known poetry. This ain't no joke to me. Pro's whole life only known poetry. This ain't no woe is me.
And right here, get it off your chest. A little more ProQuo.
In life we taught to breathe pain, right?
Right.
And it is spiritual. But the human element of it all makes it so beautiful, you know what I mean? I didn't die to resurrect. I bury pain after I wept. Old habits to an old mind state. I do reflect, recognize and realize the grind ain't about your neck. It's more about getting better over things you're trying to wreck. I used to change like the weather if you was raining on my step. Feeding me the drama. Now I take away those breaths so make you think about it. Now you can get it off your chest or let it slide. Swallow pride and leave that how it should be left. How many people getting got cause they be playing with them F's? My people need a knock that trickle down to every thought and pull you out of rest. You still alive, so reach the sky before your death. Crucified, you're welcome. Hope you take the steps, digest.
Get it off your chest, get it off your chest.
Gotta be getting it off your chest, player.
Get it off your chest.
All that stress.
Get it off your chest. Get it off your chest.
Get it off your chest. Get it off your chest.
Listen, my crucifixion is an affliction with this pastime. Remember I caught the urge back when I first heard Nas's halftime. Always had rhymes, but at times I put no purpose into journaling. Then it was clear to me this was therapy, natural Percocet. Whenever I murder it, now I can say for sure that the verses lit and my vocal sound prodigious on some Andreas Perez Ursulit. That's when I would work it more with fervor. I get merciless. The merchant of Venice whenever I pen this. Lord, applaud your journalist. But on the earnestness, my service is my life's work. By putting this pen to paper, neighbor made certain that my lights work.
You know how we do, baby. Yeah, right there. That's Get It Off Your Chest. Also unreleased. We started working on that a while back. We got a lot in the lab. We got a lot in formation. We're not letting up. We got a whole lot of music. Xcal, same deal. A lot in the shoot, a lot individually. Quo has got so much material individually. It's crazy. He's on a pace to be releasing like 2 joints a week for like a year. That's how much he's gotten to shoot. Putting in that time in the dojo, and yeah, so that's kind of where we at. I am not loving, like I said, I'm not loving um, the connectivity of this camera right here, but you know, we're gonna live with it. So yeah, so next week, just reminding y'all to check in. It'll be real dope. Check in next week, as I think Quote will be up here, and we're trying to make that happen. Drop a little bit of new music that nobody's ever heard. My man Jonah will also be up here, playing a few things. We'll be talking about a few things that we'll be doing out and about, and where we'll be and where you can catch us. And that's about it. That's the update. And thanks for rocking with me late, and for all y'all checking out the replay. That's all I got for you, except I want to end on some quantum. So that's why I really like to lose people. Save it to the end. So if you want to check out now, now's the time to jump out. So the quantum thing that I wanted to share was an article, and this is wild. So even if you think like, hey man, I don't even know what quantum is, that's okay. Most people don't, self included. Like, it's really hard to come up with a definition that folks can gravitate towards, like just a sort of a working definition of what we're even talking about when we say quantum. And the article that I'm going to share is not going to make it any easier, but we're trying to narrate to you what theoretically out there has been happening. It's really some sci-fi meets real sci meets pop culture that's out there, and meets Einstein. So those are some exciting words and names to throw around. So I'm going to share with you an article that is right here. So yeah, let me share this. And now check out the title, right? Physicists create a holographic wormhole using a quantum computer. All right. The unprecedented experiment explores the possibility that space-time somehow emerges from quantum information, even as the work's interpretation remains disputed. So there's different graphics. There's many articles out there. If you were to just Google holographic wormhole quantum, you'd probably be able to pull this up. And this is fresh off the presses, but a lot of people have been working on this stuff for a while. So I'm not going to read you verbatim everything that's in here, but I'm going to sort of summarize from paragraph to paragraph and occasionally read a little bit in here. So a wormhole, in theory, has been developed. Now it's a cheesy version of what you think of as a wormhole, but it's a wormhole nonetheless in sort of the theoretical sense. So back in the 1930s, you may have heard of a thing called EPR if you follow physics, and the E is for Einstein and the R is Rosen. And right here in the first paragraph, you see they theorized that you could have a tunnel going to another dimension in space. And you've seen this popularized in pop culture. A wormhole would make faster than light speed travel possible, which essentially makes time travel in what we think of time travel more possible as well. So this particular wormhole that was made was really from computing, and quantum computing, essentially. So a hologram, we all know what a hologram traditionally means. There is a holographic principle that's out there that's been pushed and promulgated through the media, primarily in pop culture, science. You would not even pop, that's bad to say, in more easily to understand talk. Leonard Susskind is probably the physicist that you could probably most understand, because he doesn't bog you down in any of the math and hard physics. He just kind of talks about the concepts, and that's why I really, really enjoy him and like to share him with students. So we can talk about Juan in a moment too. I'll talk about some other folks that are out there that are doing just unbelievable work. But a superconducting circuit is where the wormhole basically emerged. So these bits of information, what we call qubits. So Q stands for quantum, and bits, just like ones and zeros, like bits of information. these qubits that are stored in the superconducting circuits, right? If you play with them and you get really clever, you can sort of send information from one to the other, and essentially what they're deeming as a wormhole is the result. So let me read you this paragraph right here in the middle. This is one that's probably worth reading because it sort of clarifies what's going on. The team led by Maria Spiropoulou of the California Institute of Technology implemented the novel wormhole teleportation protocol using Google's quantum computer, a device called Sycamore, housed at Google Quantum AI in Santa Barbara, California. With this first of its kind quantum gravity experiment on a chip, as she described it, she and her team beat a competing group of physicists who aimed to do wormhole teleportation with IBM and Quantum's quantum computer. Okay. When Spiropoulou saw the key signature indicating that qubits were passing through the wormhole, she said, "I was shaken." The experiments can be seen as evidence for the holographic principle, a sweeping hypothesis about how two pillars of fundamental physics, quantum mechanics and general relativity, fit together. Whenever you hear general relativity, you want to think Einstein, right? And so whenever you hear the 30s, you usually think of Einstein. Physicists have strived since the 30s to reconcile these disjointed theories. One, a rule book for atoms and subatomic particles. The other, Einstein's description of how matter and energy warp the space-time fabric, generating gravity. So the general idea out there, since Einstein has kind of reimagined it for us, is that large objects can essentially warp space, or what Einstein would purport as space-time. So the light would be bending to go around these massive objects that would be like putting a weight in the middle of space, and it would cause like if you put a heavy ball on a sheet of anything, it would sag in the middle, and that's essentially what's creating the gravity. The sag, you put anything near it, even though you couldn't see it in space, there would be like a sag around the planets, and a ball or anything like that you would see would kind of spin around that, right? Much like planets do around a star or so forth, and get pulled towards the heaviest kind of area, right? So we know the heavier the object is, we say metaphorically that the heavy objects attract the lighter objects. That's kind of how gravity works, but we haven't really understood why, right? So the description of how matter and energy are warping that, like think of that as fabric, is sort of what we call gravity, right? So the holographic principle, and I'm going to go back to reading here, the holographic principle, ascendant since the 1990s, posits a mathematical equivalence or duality between the two frameworks. It says that whole bendy space thing that I'm talking about, first described by general relativity, it's really just a quantum system in disguise. So it says is really a quantum system of particles in disguise. Space-time and gravity emerge from quantum effects. This is the crazy part. Much as a 3D hologram projects out of a 2D pattern. I'm not going to play the video here. I'm not sure if it'll work, but this wormhole idea is nothing really new. So it's been out there for a long time, but unlike an ordinary hologram, they say the wormhole isn't something we can actually see, though. While it can be considered a filament of real space-time, according to co-author Daniel Jaffries of Harvard, hope I'm saying his name right, a lead developer of the wormhole teleportation protocol, it's not part of the same reality that we in the Sycamore computer inhabit. The holographic principle says that the two realities, the one with wormhole and the one with the qubits, are alternate versions of the same physics. But how to conceptualize this kind of duality remains mysterious. So there's going to be controversy around this whole interpretation of what really happened. This article goes on and on, but essentially there was an MIT computing kid, like in his bedroom over the break, who was helping make this discovery, basically seeing the sort of the classic signature, if you will, that a wormhole was in play, kind of pop up into his computer. Really sort of the long and short of what goes on here. So this gets into quantum entanglement, and really that's sort of fundamental to what's behind here. And a lot of the math and the physics that is really glossed over. They'll just sort of point you towards other papers, and those who can sort of deal with it. But I like the paragraph under the picture here. So let's get into this. So this is Rosen and this is Einstein, obviously. Einstein and Rosen speculated that Schwarzschild math might be a way to plug elementary particles into general relativity. To make the picture work, they snipped the singularity out of his equations, swapping in new variables that replaced the sharp point with an extra dimensional tube sliding to another part of space. Basically, that's your wormhole. Einstein and Rosen argued wrongly, but precisely, that these bridges or wormholes might represent particles. Ironically, in striving to link wormholes and particles, the duo did not consider the strange particle phenomenon they had identified 2 months earlier with Podolsky in the EPR paper. So the P's for Podolsky, quantum entanglement. So they were trying to argument that this whole spooky action at a distance stuff can't really be a thing. Like, in other words, there must be more information behind the scenes of the way that quantum reality seems to be generating data. In other words, what we're seeing is that a particle in one part of the universe could be correlated with a particle in the other part. And as soon as the particle is measured in one place, you get a correlated measurement to the entangled particle wherever else it is. A lot of times you'll see A and B called like Alice and Bob, and Alice is, looking at the particle over here. Bob is looking at the particle over here. And as soon as Alice observes what's going on one side, Bob knows that it's been observed because of the way that it reacts, right? So it's sort of a simplified way to say what's happening. And they were like, way. Basically, Einstein was like, nah, that would violate everything that we know about his whole big conjecture of relativity. We're like, hey, look, nothing can move faster than the speed of light. How can this possibly be that information could go anywhere in the galaxy, any galaxy theoretically, and just instantaneously one particle could kind of communicate to another? And that's what he would call spooky action at a distance, because it's spooky and this is happening over any distance. And like, what is going on? So they argued for a long, long time that there had to be some extra information we didn't really know about. And the new Nobel Prize in physics is sort of an overdue award that has to do with these theories and ideas from Bell. And so Bell was kind of like, no, look, I got an experiment here that's going to kind of prove that there is no hidden variable behind the scene, like that. In other words, that quantum is real, like that these measurements that we're getting are what they are. There's not some like hidden smoking gun behind the mirror. So that's some of the backstory of what really is behind EPR. EPR was like the argument of prominent physicists at the time saying, look, bro, like we can't believe that this is the reality. And for some clever mathematics that really isn't all that difficult, you can prove mathematically that you have different probabilities that emerge, and there would be one set of probabilities in a sort of what you'd expect in a classical setup, and yet that's not what we're getting every single time we do experiments that are verifying that. To make a long story short, that quantum is not just a nice convenient thought. It's actually standing the test, that there is more to what meets the eye that we still don't understand, but that there's not some hidden variables, if you will, that Einstein, Rosen, and Podolsky were trying to say must be the case. In other words, we're like, nope, the math checks out every single time. So what's happening is happening. We don't know exactly why it's happening, but it's not happening, if that makes sense. Is who I talked about earlier, that's Susskind. And over here is Juan Malcena, whose work is sort of unprecedented. Together, they're behind a lot of the holographic principles and talking about how, however I attempt to say it, I will crush it, but saying that there are things that happen, especially as you get closer to black holes, that make sort of the emergent reality seem much like a hologram. The way, much like a hologram would come into being out of 2D into 3D, seems to be kind of what might be happening behind the scenes, and becomes more apparent. Like a lot of things you see in sci-fi, the closer you get to black holes, some crazy stuff seems to happen. So there is a lot that I could say that would lose me and lose you, and I'm sure that I probably already have lost you. But if that doesn't intimidate you, I'd encourage you to read the rest of this article that I'm sort of passing through here. It's long, but you'll get the general idea of what's happening. And what's pretty exciting about the whole paper is the things that could emerge from the possibility, even the remote possibility of a wormhole theoretically having some basis in at least one experiment, to extrapolate it towards space and thinking about how negative spaces work, and even how if you hold up two plates of steel together, you can create negative energy between them. Some sort of basic science and physics that you may have seen at some point. If you extrapolate that and think about that, what would happen if you could generate something like that in space? Could you create regions of space that have, like, let's just say, less resistance so that faster speed could take place? And you think about the idea of a wormhole in a similar manner. Could you create a shortcut through space that would allow you to get somewhere faster than the generated or typical speed limit that would be there? And then what implications would things like these actually have? And then leave it to the imagination of all the things that that could allow us to do. So that's kind of what's going on right now in quantum that's tickling people's taste buds and fancies. So that's an interesting article. And if you bared with me through that, great for you. If you did not, no problem. But hopefully we'll get people a little bit more excited about quantum computing, because even basic things like thinking about the security of encryption, with a quantum supercomputer, we could stop every hacker there is in the world. Or the other way around, if hackers could have quantum computers, they could hack everything. So you can clearly see why the government is so enthralled by the prospects of quantum, and making sure that we by the democratic nations of the world, have some leverage over quantum, and that we are not at its mercy. So I'm going to leave it there. And if you're interested more in quantum, hey, hit me up and I will point you in the right direction. All right, y'all. Peace. We out of here. ProQuo Show signing off. Peace.